Good morning, students. Today, I will start with the topic navigation. As you have seen in the previous lectures, the topic of the lectures is bird migration and navigation. So, I have done bird migration previously, and now I will go for navigation. I have given 5 lectures for bird migration. I hope you are able to understand them well. And now I am going to proceed with navigation. As the word suggests, you can see the meaning of the word navigation is that how the birds they move along the path when they are migrating from one place to other. This is navigation. So it is a big mystery that how small tiny birds they move for thousands of kilometers from their native place to other places where the conditions are not very harsh and they can get food and shelter easily in those places. And then when the weather changes and the conditions at their native places they become normal again, they come back those 1,000 kilometers which they had traveled, they come back and retrace their path for the same thousands of kilometers and come to their native place. So this is very mysterious that how these tiny birds are able to do it. Why don't they forget the pathway and they are able to reach where their previous abode was? And I'm going to discuss this topic, that how are the birds able to navigate in such long distances successfully, and they are able to come back home. Probably the naughtiest problem in all ornithology is how a bird finds its way home. Year in, year out, millions of migratory birds successfully travel hundreds and even thousands of kilometers back and forth between their breeding and wintering grounds. To do this successfully, a bird must know where it must know the direction of its goal, and it must be able to maintain its course or navigate in that direction. Banded long distance migrants have returned not only to the same restricted wintering area but also to the same pinpoint nesting site. Many individually marked birds have been experimentally displaced thousands of kilometers into completely strange areas and yet have returned to their home nest sites, often with astonishing speed. For example, a puffinus carried by airplanes to Boston over 5,100 kilometers from its breeding is in land of Wales was back in its nesting burrow 12 and a half days later. This is when a bird did not itself go to the migratory place. It was carried through the airplanes and it was placed in that region, and still the bird was able to come to its original place. Homing ability is widespread in the animal kingdom, but capacity for homing is best developed in birds. This recognition may be hereditary or more likely acquired early in life, perhaps through imprinting. Attempts to explain orientation are usually based either on the use of known sense organs or on unknown sense organs, which might extend the bird's range of perception. Because the traditional senses seem inadequate to account for many of remarkable feats of bird orientation. It is not peculiar It is not peculiar for birds, only specially modified senses are found in many other animals as well. Example, exceedingly acute sense of taste in butterflies, the sharp olfactory sense of bloodhounds and moths, the ability of bees to see ultraviolet and to discriminate the plane of polarized light, the ability of pit vipers to perceive infrared rays, the well-known capacity of bats and at least two species of birds, oilbird and cave swiftlet, to avoid obstacles in the dark by echolocation. Even experimentally displaced blind newts are able to home, but by what sensory means is unknown. Among the theories involving special sense perception is the retracement theory, which holds that a bird stores in its memory kinesthetic and semicircular canal impressions of every twist and turn of an outgoing journey and recalls them in reverse order for guidance on the return trip. Numerous displacement experiments with birds, either anesthetized or constantly spun on turntables on the outgoing trip, showed no differences in homing ability between experimental and control birds. Moreover, a theory of this sort cannot account for orientation on the maiden trip of a young, unaccompanied, inexperienced bird. Another hypothesis ascribes to homing birds an ability to sense the Earth's magnetic field and thereby acquire a compass like sense of direction. No one has yet convincingly demonstrated that birds are able to sense the Earth's magnetism. A third hypothesis, proposed by Ising, 1946, suggests that because of their motions over the surface of the Earth, birds add to or subtract from the effects of the Earth's centrifugal force and that they are able to feel the gravitational differences. Another force suggested as a possible clue to orientation provided birds could sense it is the Coriolis Force. This is the lateral force generated in moving bodies that crosses lines of latitudes on the Earth's surface. The force that causes the clockwise deflections of winds in the northern hemisphere, the almost infinitesimal value of Coriolis forces in a flying bird have discouraged wide acceptance of this means of orientation. Yeagley in 1947-1951 suggested that birds respond both to terrestrial magnetism and to Coriolis force. Some believe that birds possess an innate sense of direction, while no special sense organ has ever been proposed as the seat of so-called sense of direction in birds. Experiments by Gantherotli et al. 1959 have shown functional differences in the brains of migratory as compared with non-migratory pigeons. A sense of direction, a compass sense, is worthless unless a bird also possesses a sense of position, that is, know where it is with reference to its goal. It needs a compass, a chart, a knowledge of its map location. It would be strange indeed if birds did not use their superior eyesight to aid them in navigation. So, here I have given you a knowledge of how the birds they use their own structure of the brain, of its semicircular canals in the internal ear. They make use of the Coriolis force, the magnetism of the earth, and they even use their eyes. All these things help in the navigation of the birds. And about the sight being important in navigation or not being important, I will proceed in the next lecture. Thank you.